Hi guys, Brain here, and welcome to another commentary video. And today I want to be talking about why MMR feels worse than it should be. Because ideally, in the idea of like a skill-based MMR, I should be getting people who are great at looping, and I should be getting 2Ks most of my matches, because that's like what would be considered the most realistic thing to a comparison to a tie in Dead by Daylight. And idealistically, the game should be more fun because if somebody's better at chases, that means the chases are more exciting, and therefore everything's way more exciting in said game. But that's not how things have been really going about. Just haven't been. I'm sure you've been playing Killer, and you've felt how intense yet boring the games are. And there's a very specific reason for that. So let's go ahead and break that apart. So, in MMR, in the skill-based MMR, the skill-based matchmaking that they have implemented, the most important thing to the survivor is living. The most important thing that determines whether you go higher in the MMR or lower in the MMR is whether you actually survive the match. In theory, that sounds like it makes sense, right? Like to somebody who's just looking on the outside of Dead by Daylight, it's like, oh, well, it's a game where the killer kills you, so obviously if the killer doesn't kill you, that's a good thing, right? But in reality, that's not really how it works. The survivors that usually live are the ones that aren't getting into chases. The survivors that usually live are the ones that hide or immerse around the map, only do the generators, and do the doors and then leave. If you ever get into a chase with one of these gamers, usually what they'll do is they'll immediately run to one of the stronger structures, like the main building on any map. They'll immediately run there where they know they can waste a lot of time, and smart killers don't chase them because they know they don't want to waste a lot of time. If they are near any pallets, they'll pre-drop them super early, which is like the safest option you can make, and then they disappear, right? So even if you actually find them, they're making incredibly safe decisions that you can't really do anything about because they just are so incredibly safe. So idealistically, when you're getting into chases with people, you eventually down them just because of bloodlust and other mechanics and that sort of thing. Unless you really actually suck really terribly. But idealistically, even if somebody loops you really well, you're going to eventually down them. So the people that are dying are the ones that are looping really well, going back for saves on fallen teammates, trying to distract the killer so they can, get those saves. Basically the survivors that are doing things in the match that actually require more skill, like the chasing, the risky saves, they're usually the one paying the price for doing the skillful things. Because the skillful things that survivors can do in this game involve directly interacting with the killer. There's no skill to doing generators. There's no skill to pre-dropping a pallet super far away. The skill in this game comes down to the chases, risky saves, that sort of thing. All these things that require you to actually know how to pull off the play exactly, all directly involve interacting with the killer. So just on average, hey, if you're interacting with the killer more, you're probably dying more, because that doesn't always go your way. It just doesn't, just because it's the nature of the beast. So that's why MMR has seemed so rough to play from the killer side of things, because essentially you're being match made not with good players, but just extremely cowardly safe players. that is what has happened, because the players that are looping really well, going for saves in the end game, all that wonderful stuff that actually takes skill and is actually really clutch, those people are dying more often than the people who just hide all match and do the gens and leave, and they see the kill maybe once, if even that. Those are the people that are rising up through the MMR. The skillful players, the ones that are doing the hard stuff of the survivor skill level, those guys are dying more often, so they're sliding down into the middle of MMR. The players that are playing the most boring, riskless, unskillful part of Dead by Daylight are the ones that are rising up through the MMR, because all it's rewarding is living. And it's creating this really unfun atmosphere. And I've heard more people complain about gen rushing and gen efficiency now than I've ever heard in my entire history playing this game. I've heard more people be like gen rushing, or like they get confused about gen times, or they even I do this. I'll be like, that was a sus speed on that gen, you know? Like, I've heard that come out of people's mouth more than I ever had in the entire history of me playing this game, like, since MMR has been a thing. And it's because, like, the gen efficient nerds, the M1 warriors, are the ones that are becoming more and more prominent in the game. The ones that do nothing but sit on a gen and hold M1 and play super duper safe because they don't want to interact with the killer, those are the ones that are rising through the MMR. So essentially, high MMR is no longer, I guess it never was, skill-based MMR is not really skill-based matchmaking. It's just not skill-based matchmaking because the skillful players aren't ending up in high MMR. So you're getting good killers, but not good survivors. You're just getting gen efficient survivors that know how to hide and play super safe. And that takes like 2 IQ. That is like caveman stuff. That does not require that much thought. It really doesn't. So you're not getting to flex like your chase muscles very much. You're not really getting to show your skill off. And the matches are just passing you by because the people that are ending up in the high MMR with you are the ones that are like super gen efficient, super gen rushy. So, and people that are playing in the like the mid MMR are like really frustrated because they have these like literal like flashlight gods and looping gods like just blasting them in the mid tier, like mid MMR, because like those people are dying a lot. So they're facing killers that don't know how to handle them. It's just, I think that skill-based matchmaking would have been not as bad for this game as people thought it was if it actually functioned. The idea of like facing really good looping survivors all the time actually sounds fun to me. I would like that world. But that's not the world we live in. We live in a world where I hold M1 for 80 seconds that is what constitutes the best players in the game according to the skill-based matchmaking. So I'm not really getting to loop as much with survivors. Matches are passing me by super quickly. Even if I like win, usually I'm just kind of like, you know, getting most of my kills or big plays in like the last gen or the end game collapse. And it's just, I don't know, man. They borked it, and everybody knows they borked it. Everybody knows they screwed it up, but it's just the way it's shaped out is so much worse than I thought it would be. And I'm just genuinely impressed they messed it up that badly. I'm genuinely impressed that they literally went, yes. If they hold M1 on the gen, they are truly the best of Dead by Daylight. Like, And I think they really can't afford to keep making these decisions. They really can't. They're no longer the only kids on the block anymore. They're not the only 4v1 asymmetrical horror game in the genre. We got 2 out right now, or one is coming out. 1 is out, and we got another one with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game coming soon. So they got a lot of competition. And they continue to just make very puzzling decisions. And, you know, I just worry for them. Because eventually this is all going to catch up to them. I don't know when. I'm not clairvoyant. I don't know when, but it's getting a little bit more dangerous to make these really painful gameplay mistakes with the way the game's played. It's getting way more dangerous to F up their game. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, friendos. Hopefully you liked this commentary video. If you did like it, make sure to actually like it with the thumb button down below with the like button. And if you want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe, because that's how they show up on your homepage. On that, anything else for you? I'll see you in the next video. If I don't, I'll see you when I see you, friends. Bye-bye.